Well, happy Sunday to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you finally from beautiful San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful Sunday today, and I'm very excited that you're here with me. So, you want to be a leader. I'd love to address this because I know that many people are enamored with the idea of leadership. And so I'd like to just touch base on this for a moment because like many things, what people have as a connotation in their mind when they hear a word, which is why I love etymology and the study of words. When we hear words, our brains bring a picture or an idea, if you will, to mind. For instance, if I was to stand in a room full of people and say, tell me what you picture when I say this word, dog. If there's a room of 100 people, you're gonna have 100 different responses. Maybe a couple of people, if they love the same type of dog, are gonna have that. But the point is, people don't have the image in their mind that you have in your mind when you speak a word. This is a very, very fundamental principle of communication and understanding when you speak to people or when you share or communicate with people. You cannot be under the assumption that when you say something, everybody's going to understand and have a vision or picture of what you picture in your mind. So you want to be a leader. Most people have a picture in their mind when, hey, Oscar, good to see you, brother, of leadership being, I will be the person that gets to tell everybody else what to do. I won't have to take any crap from anybody. That usually comes from people who have had poor leaders. I won't have to worry about any of this stuff at all. I can be the boss. No one's going to be the boss of me. I get to be the boss. I'm going to be the leader. The challenge with that reality is, if you listen to anything that John Maxwell says, who, by the way, it would be a great idea if leadership interests you to buy some John Maxwell books, because he's the foremost authority studying, researching, and exercising leadership. He boils it down to this. He says, leadership is nothing more and nothing less than influence. So we are all leaders at some point, in the sense that we have influence with other people. There are other people in our lives, unless we are a hermit living alone on an island by ourselves. We have other people in our lives who look to us and observe from us, and we are either a blessing or a lesson. We're either a blessing, help them understand how they can do things better and become more than they currently are, or we're a lesson. We're a cautionary tale of, don't want to do it the way that guy's doing it because the results he's getting don't appear to be the results I want to get. So you want to be a leader. Let me share with you the opposite version of what most people may think. And I go back and reflect on this perfect, wonderful Sunday, this Sabbath day, to a time when Jesus's 12 buddies were hanging out with him, and they were talking about who was going to be the greatest among them in his kingdom. In fact, their mom, they were brothers, was like, Jesus, I'd like you to promise me that my boys are going to be your right-hand man. Like, you know, she was being a mom. She was trying to hook her kids up. And as this debate was going on that was irritating several of the other apostles at the table, Jesus took a cloth from around his waist that he was wearing, and he filled up a basin of water. And as they were talking about this vision of leadership that they had and wanting to be the greatest, he began to get on his knees, get on the ground, Jesus, Son of God, and began to wash their feet. He began to wash their feet. You know, it's amazing. You may not believe this, but do you know that your life and how you live is a greater sermon or a more clear Bible than... That's my beautiful wife calling me because she didn't realize I'm going live because she don't like my videos. She told me, I hear you all the time. I can't take it. Love you, Angela. He was washing their feet while they were arguing about who would be the greatest among them. Which one of us is going to be the greatest? And you know what he did? His life modeled an example. Sometimes Jesus told stories. Sometimes he gave examples. Many times, and almost all the time, he was modeling for those around him the principles that he was speaking. In other words, you guys might call it practicing what you preach. He practiced what he preached. And many times he practiced it so well that he did not need to preach because his practicing was the preaching. If you saw him doing it, you'd be if you did it too. I wonder, as a leader, is that something that you can say? Can you say of yourself, follow me, follow what I do, imitate what I do, imitate how I live, imitate my actions and activities, and you're going to be Do you know the Apostle Paul, who was one time Saul, who was actually against the Christians at one time? He was persecuting them, throwing them in prison, observed the first martyr Stephen being stoned to death, and people laid their clothes at his feet to watch him while they were stoning him, and he observed this. This is the guy that Jesus got a hold of that ended up writing the majority of the New Testament. You know, this guy said this, follow me as I follow Christ. Can you say that? Can you say that? Because ultimately your leadership is about who you are more than what you do. And if you were to go to work tomorrow, here's the question I want to ask you. If you were to go to work tomorrow and everybody at your office operated, thought, lived, and executed like you, if they modeled you and did identically what you did, what you thought, and what you said, would your workplace be transformed to a level of excellence that is just legendary? Or would that place be a bomb waiting to explode? You see, a big challenge with a lot of people who are sideline critics are connected to this, well, the president should do that, well, the last president should have done this, well, the leadership should do it, well, the leader. And I just have a simple request from you. Why don't you model for us what you want to see in your leaders? How about you model for us what you want to see in your leaders? At work, at home, in the government. Please, we are all looking for a life that we can say, let me model after that. Maybe not entirely in its entirety, but largely. I mean, how cool would that be for you to be able to say, I'm going to follow that lead. I am going to follow that person. What appears to be going on over there, the fruit that's being produced in their life, is very attractive to me, and I think I would like some of that in my life. You see, you want to be a leader? I got news for you. You're going to have to take off your little skirt thing, and you're going to have to fill a basin full of water. You're going to have to get down in the dirt on your knees and start washing some feet like Jesus, because he said this in conclusion: the greatest among you will be the servant of all. What? Servant? I said I want to be a leader, Steve Collins. I don't want to be a servant. Well, welcome to reality, friend. If you are going to be a leader who truly has influence and has the ability to impart to others something of substance, then, my friend, you will become a servant. Leadership and servanthood are synonymous. Leadership and servanthood are synonymous. Are you creating other leaders around you, or are you forcefully attempting to create followers of you? You see, you teach what you know, but you impart who you are, which is why it is so important for you to become who you were intended to become. Zig Ziglar said this: you got to be before you can do, and you got to do before you can have, and you got to have before you can give. Ultimately, leadership, the influence that you have, is best stewarded in service to other people. So I would like for you to play around with etymology with me, if you will, and enjoy using language to conjure up images in your mind that will allow you to continue to pursue the goals you have in life. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do today. I'm going to ask you to interchange the word leadership with servanthood and the word leader with servant, so that you truly know what you're asking for, so that you will no longer say, I can't wait to be a leader. You'll change the language to, I can't wait to be a servant. I can't wait to have the opportunity to have others entrust their lives to my stewardship so that I can pour out into them and help them become better. I can't wait to serve. How many people can I serve? Who do I have to become so that I can serve the greatest number of people around me? Who do I have to become so I can serve the greatest number of people around me? So you want to be a leader? I've got the key for you. When you're ready to lead, it's time to serve. Because leadership, with that influence, exposes what it's really about in its service to other people versus lording over people. Do you want to see others grow? Do you want to see others big? Do you want to see others fulfill their potential? Well then, my friend, you don't really want to be a leader. You really want to be a servant. And I hope today you choose to be the best servant you can be. Have a great weekend.